Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com with the updated version of what we call Mono Red Token Storm. I'm going to build two versions of this. If you haven't seen my spoiler video, I suggest go and check it out. I am super excited over this new Bushwhacker. It's basically another Goblin Bushwhacker. Basically does the exact same thing. Biggest difference is it has Surge. So for 2 mana, if you cast a spell before this, it is a 2-1 with haste that gives all your other creatures +1/+0 in haste. So it's another Goblin Bushwhacker, which allows us basically in Modern to have 8 Goblin Bushwhackers. Now here is a deck that I had a lot of success with Goblin Bushwhacker being one of the best cards to draw into. This is going to be what we call Mono Red Token Storm. There's 2 ways to build it. One is through just trying to cast a bunch of spells without any sort of mana ramp, and then just get enough. I think you only have to have usually around 4 creatures out before the Haze of Rage or Goblin Bushwhackers become pretty much lethal. And I did have we had the Swift Spears in the main board here. I decided to cut Swift Spears to put these other Bushwhackers in here. I don't know if actually 8's the right number, if 6 is the right number with the Bushwhackers, but when playing this deck, it tended to be one of the better cards in the deck. Swift Spear did get in for a lot of damage because it did trigger a ton off of all of these free spells that we cast, and then it usually ended up doing like 7 damage itself, so you could calculate in the damage. And it's just your best 1-drop. Goblin Guide's also another one you could run in this type of deck and have a very, very efficient 1-drop. Legion Loyalist is another one. If you could really go into the Goblin-based strategy with now having access to 12 or 8 Bushwhackers in the deck. So the deck tech is you're trying to cast either spells for Young Pyromancer to get a bunch of tokens, or specifically target the Accruing Crusader to get 1/1 soldier creature tokens with haste. And so the best free spells we can use that can actually target are going to be Crowd's Favor and Mutagenic Growth. So Crowd's Favor has Convoke, so you can actually convoke a red creature spell to cast this for free. So you just have to tap down one of your tokens or you just tap down your Accruing Crusader to cast it on itself, and it puts a 1/1 soldier creature token into play. And then we also have a Crimson Wisp that we can target any creature, draw a card, and it gains haste. So it's just a free draw spell. If you really wanted to pump up, like if you're going to go more the monster Swift Spear route, of course you could go a different card like Assault Strobe or the brutal. There's Brutal Strength. There's Titan Strength. There's plenty of other cards that just pump. But in this we want to swarm, not pump, and so I think that the Crimson Wisp is a lot better just to draw that card. Gitaxian Probe is just a free spell. We get a free card out of it. You could use the Bobble as well as another free spell. Kiln Fiend goes okay in this deck, but I think that instead of going like the Swift Spear, Niv Magus Elemental, Kiln Fiend route, what we're doing is we're going you're trying to get tokens out, and so for the Bushwhacker to get the most value out of it. So then we have Metamorphose as a free spell as well, and then so you try to drop your Pyromancer, Young Pyromancer on turn 2, and then after that on turn 3 is cast a ton of spells into a Haze of Rage, which storms off and then gives all your creatures +1/+0. And then either the Bushwhackers can give your guys haste. Haste was one of the harder cards to actually get to work. I did at one point have there was a spell that gave all creatures haste. It's 1 red, I believe. I don't have it in the sideboard, but I've had that in here before. But with the Bushwhackers, I found it to be not necessary. So anyway, this is the list. I'll throw the list up on Tapped Out. I'll throw a link up of what I'd put for the Bushwhackers. I mean, just replace the new bush. It's called Reckless Bushwhacker, which is the new card, and you'll see how well this runs. I'm sure if we get any more of these cheap red spells, they can be included in this deck as well. I'm pretty sure I might be missing some obvious cards in here. We'll have to see. So there's version number 1. Version number 2, I think that I'll do another video on it, but what it's going to do, and it will come in the future. I don't have the time to do it right now. I have to run to swim team as usual. So anyway, we will go ahead and look at what it would take to build around Empty the Warrens, and how I'm thinking about building through Empty the Warrens is, let me show you what the card is really quickly here. put 2/1 red goblin creature tokens on the battlefield, and then storm, and then so it's got good synergy with this Haze of Rage. So you're still going to probably use, probably not a Crone Crusader, but we're still going to use the Young Pyromancer, I'd assume, and then you'd really want to go all out on like Battle Hymns. I guess you still could use a Crone Crusader because it's really good with Battle Hymn, and then cards like Manamorphose. So Manamorphose is a free spell, Battle Hymn, and you're going to try to just get a ton of mana, and then with a ton of mana you can actually cast like Commune with Lava. So this will be the draw spell, is Commune with Lava is exile the top X cards library until an turn you may play those cards. So Commune with Lava can get a ton of attacks and probes and mutagenic growths or cards like that, and this way it can stay in a mono red type list because you're gonna get so much mana out of your Battle Hymn. You're also gonna run Pyretic Ritual and Desperate Ritual, and Commune is just going to be the way for you. It's kind of like the Epic Experiment for mono red, and then you can basically, you're not going to spend all X of your mana. You can even use the cards that destroy creatures, Infernal Plunge. Yeah, we'll have to build this. It's going to be around Commune with Lava and Empty the Warrens, and just ramping up a ton of mana through. I guess we could even use the card, the Locket of Yesterdays. Locket of Yesterdays to reduce the cost of everything that's been played. And then eventually your win condition will be casting a huge Empty the Warrens into a Goblin Bushwhacker. There's even cards like Geosurge in this deck that you can use. Geosurge is a 4-mana spell that you can add 7 mana. And you can only cast artifacts or creature spells with it. But that you can cast the Surge and the Kicker with Goblin Bushwhacker. So that allows us a ton of creatures. I don't know if we actually want a Geosurge in here or not. Infernal Plunge is this bad boy right here. You can sacrifice a creature to add 3 red to your mana pool. There's just a lot of ways you can go, and then Commune will allow you. So once you ramp up enough with Commune, then you could do it all over again. I'm sure we could run a Pass in Flames and go that route. I'm sure there's turn two kills available. We'll have to put our heads together and decide the exact list that would go that route. But for this one, this Mono Red Token Storm has already been tried before. I think we had some pretty good. I think I went 2-2 with this deck when I played it for playing on a budget the last time around, and I had a lot of fun with it because it did get off some crazy kills out of nowhere. So anyway, there's the list. I'll throw this up on Tapped Out and show you the link. This has been Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.